Welcome to the HCI family of podcasts. We're your source for personal, professional, and organizational growth and development. We share our own original research, explore industry trends, and interview executives and thought leaders from across the globe. Join us for practitioner-oriented content around all things leadership, HR, talent management, organizational development, and change management. Maximize your personal and organizational potential with the HCI family of podcasts. Carol Zizzo, welcome to the conversation today.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
It is a pleasure to be with you. Where are you joining us from?
Bothell, Washington, just a bit north of Seattle in the beautiful,
Oh,
wet Pacific Northwest.
I love the Pacific Northwest. I grew up in Oregon, just south of
Oh,
Oregon of Portland, rather.
yeah,
And I'm in the Salt Lake City area now. It's been rather wet here, even though we've had an
yeah.
incredibly dry winter.
You need it.
So not a lot of snow for those who are snow bums and ski bums this year. But anyways, we're looking really
Yeah,
forward to a nice spring, a nice summer. I imagine you are as well.
no
It's
kidding, boy. If you live here, you just can't wait until June and July until it's
yeah.
consistent sunshine.
Yeah, I love the Pacific Northwest. I always love when I have a chance to travel back. My wife is from Southern California, a beach town, and so
Yeah.
she likes to visit, but she can't wrap her mind around the idea of living in a place where it rains so much.
Yeah, I understood. I came from California as well, so you'd think after I've been here for over 40 years, you'd think I would have gotten used to that, but it's still every spring I think it shouldn't be raining right now.
Right.
It should be California weather. So,
Right, right. Well,
yeah.
hey, it's a real pleasure to have an opportunity to chat with you. And today we're going to be talking about the new executive skill set for 2026 and beyond. Of course, now we're, a quarter into 2026, and things are kind of wild. The way things have been shaping
Yes.
up already this
Yeah.
year, and how things seem to be moving forward rapidly. And as we look at AI disruption, as we look at geopolitical stuff, socioeconomic stuff. It's a crazy time, and we're going to talk about transactional versus transformational executive skills. We're going to talk about really what modern leadership looks like in the modern age. As we get started, I wanted to share Carol's bio with everybody. Carol is the CEO of Henley Leadership Group and has been in the field of training and development since 1991. As an executive coach and trainer, she has a bold, straightforward, passionate approach that produces a high performance result within organizations. And she is dedicated to professional leadership development that emphasizes living a fulfilled life as a means to create extraordinary fiscal results. Carol is adept at identifying system dynamics and their implications on the task at hand. With a whole systems approach to her work, she supports the leader's development and partners with him or her to develop the organization. She holds a BA in Business and Organization Development and received her executive coaching certificate from the Coach Training Institute. Carol, it's again such a pleasure to have you. I'm going
Thank
to pause there. Anything you would like to highlight by way of your own background, personal context before we just dive on into the conversation?
I think mostly it's important to know that I have a team of 33 and we're a very collaborative, program group oriented organization. And I give my team all the credit for our success pretty much.
I love that. I love having a great collaborative team. I love being able to tap into the genius of so many different diverse individuals and all the cool things that they bring to the table. I love that about what you do. I love that about how you bring that to different organizations. And I love your background. I love all the cool things that you've accomplished
Oh,
throughout
thank
your career. And I love how just in the pre-interview as we're chatting and exploring, this topic, I love how you frame it up. And I love how you think about leadership and executive skills
you.
for the modern age. And as a professor myself, and as someone who teaches, and hopefully, I want to train up the next generation of HR professionals, of executive leaders. I want them to think transformationally. I want them to think beyond kind of the day-to-day transactional stuff. I want them to get beyond the day-to-day, show up to work, put out fires. Obviously the day-to-day stuff has to happen. You have to show up, you have to make sure the day-to-day stuff is occurring,
Right.
and the managerial things occur and happen, and that the train shows up on time, so to speak. But but there's so much more to it, right? There's just
Yeah.
so much more, especially in this age of ambiguity and
Hmm.
complexity. And so yeah, let's pull this apart and unpack this a bit because it's a hard thing, I think, to be a really good, effective leader today.
Hmm.
I mean, it's always been tricky. Leadership is
Yeah.
hard. It's as
Yes.
much an art as it is a science. It's always been hard, but I think now it's as hard as it's ever been, given the complexity and the ambiguity and the constant change and disruption that people find themselves in.
Yeah, very, very true. And I'm noticing the increased level of reactivity
Yeah.
that's kind of almost feels like we're jumping backwards instead of moving forward because of all the things you just mentioned. And so I think that that desire to know how to do something and the quick answer and let me just get through it and get something checked off my list is in full swing right now because everything's moving so quickly. And that is the transactional piece, the kinds of training and development that focus on models, how to give feedback, how to do this, how to get this, my goals done in a certain amount of time are all very, very important, but they can't be without that self-reflective, who am I and how am I showing up part of the development package. And that's, I think, that difference between training that is more how to or transactional and training that has the opportunity to cause a personal transformation and have you show up the way at your best with your best offering under these difficult circumstances and challenging times. So I think we need both, right?
Yeah, I certainly we need both, and I am definitely as guilty of it as anybody, as you're describing, like it's so easy and frankly appealing to focus on the transactional stuff because it's so much easier to control. And it's so appealing to just be able to like check stuff off. You know,
It is,
like
it is, especially it is the thing like at least I know I got that done and I know how it worked. And right now our brains need that as well, but it can't be at the cost of slowing down enough to examine and self-reflect because we are still working with people. So far, we're still working with people all day
Yeah,
long.
and like you said, we definitely need both, right?
Yeah,
Like the dopamine hit that comes from being able to check stuff off and like the transactional things, and there's plenty. Like there's not a shortage of like transactional things that do have to get done. And so
right,
like by all means, we're not saying don't like do the things
right.
that have to get done. Do those
That's
things.
right. That's
But
right. Yeah,
there's a never-ending list of like things that you could put on your list. Like the list is never ending, and I could forever just focus on transactional things and never get to the transformational things if I
right.
allowed myself to,
That's
right?
right.
It's like if I really wanted to, I could probably spend just about all day in my email inbox, right? And
Oh, I have. Yes, you're right.
yeah, and
Hmm.
like are there things that are really important in there? Absolutely. Are there things you need to respond to? Absolutely. Are there things like if you don't act on the things in your emails, could it be detrimental? Absolutely, right? All that stuff. But if you don't find a way to be disciplined and carve out time for the strategic, for the bigger picture stuff and the transformational stuff, all
That's
you
right.
ever are doing is running around like a chicken with your head cut off, putting out fires and being reactive rather than proactive and strategic. And you're never going to get to the next level, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
only just always going to be checking things off. And it does feel really nice. It feels good as someone who likes to accomplish things. It feels really good to like wake up in the morning and think, oh, I got to do all these
Yeah.
things. And by the end of the day, being able to say, oh, look, I did all these things.
Right.
It feels really good. But are like if you take a step back and you really just analyze, like what did I actually move forward in terms of like long-term goals, in terms of long-term strategy for me, my
Mhm.
team, for my organization? Those little transactional things often aren't what's going to get you there, right?
No, and I think there you can feel good about what you got done. Can you also feel good about how you got it done? So if you left dead bodies in your wake because you just drove to deliver on the goals and the
Right.
strategy and you burned people out and people start exiting or protecting themselves, then we haven't stopped to say, how am I showing up about what there is to do? And that's, I think that at Henley, that's our primary focus is you have to get the things done, but what are you doing and how are you approaching keeping yourself centered and grounded when the earth is moving beneath your feet almost every day? What are your practices? And because, you can have all the training and great models you want and read all the most beautiful books about leadership, but if you don't have the practices in your everyday life so that they become part of what you do naturally, then we are going to eventually feel the impact in the business. We won't have the results.
Yeah, and how you get stuff done matters as much as what you get done. That point that you made, I think, is really worth double clicking on and emphasizing. And
Yeah.
I think it's part of this kind of leadership skill set for the new age. It's always been important, but
Yeah.
but getting stuff done with people, not like by stomping on and like climbing over people, is
Exactly.
so important.
Yeah.
And like the leadership competencies of like empathy and emotional intelligence and like servant leadership and these elements
Hmm.
in an era of constant change and disruption and displacement and like anxiety, heightened anxiety and
Right. That's
burnout
right.
and all of these things, it is so important,
Yeah.
and it really sets leaders apart. It sets the
It
good
does.
leaders and the great leaders apart from the average to crummy to like toxic leaders on
Right.
the other end of the spectrum,
Yeah.
right?
And yeah, and I think when we get into this kind of pressure, there's a tendency to kind of hunker down and go solo at a time when what we need most is to lean into our peers and our mentors and our coaches and get things done collectively. Because if you're out to manage your stress or your behavior change during these tumultuous times, it is challenging to do it by yourself because the default mechanism to go into autopilot, to go into just getting stuff done is very strong right now. And yet, that's not how we cause sustainable change. We can't, we need to do it together. So I think that anything that takes on a programmatic or collective or group approach to your development over time and to changing these behaviors or keeping yourself grounded is more important now than ever, especially as we're leaning into AI. Like we're going into these places. AI is fantastic for great information, encouraging creativity and saving time, but it's not going to give you the practices and the accountability and the connections that you have with humans that cause that integrated change over time for us as leaders.
So how do you, when you're working with leaders, when you're coaching executives, like how do you get that point across when there's like hyper competitive tension, right? And this
Right.
pressure on leaders and executives to perform. There's quarterly pressure, right? To get the
Yeah.
metrics that you need. There's no wonder that leaders often climb over the top of and
That's
stomp
right.
on
Right.
people to get to where they need to be to get the metrics and get the performance that they feel like they need to have, right? And because of the short-term orientation that we tend to have in corporate America, and because of the short tenure that most people tend to have in
Mhm.
organizations and in roles, you might be a leader of your team, for a year, 2 years, and then
Right.
move on to a different
Right.
organization. And so there's almost no incentive, like structural incentive for a leader to look out for their team, right? Like you're
Yeah.
almost incentivized to just completely use up and spit out everyone that you work with to get ahead, which sounds
Yeah.
horrible, but
Well,
that's almost the way the system is set
that's
up,
the
right?
survival, exactly. That's the survival response I'm talking about because we're I mean, we serve probably, I don't know, 1,000 liters a year at Henley, maybe. I don't, some, close to it. And the majority of those people are in that space right now. But and I think this, this as well from your own work, when you can get people in a room to slow down enough, what they want is not that. They want to be good to their people. They want to be good for
Yeah.
themselves. Everybody wants to make a difference and have a sense of fulfillment. So I think part of the immersive response, the in the trainings or in the programs, when you have the opportunity to slow down, self-reflect, and reset and re-choose against what matters most to you, people find the small ways to impact their systems every day because the system is typically much stronger and bigger than the individual in it until you get enough individuals that are looking for ways to be more humane and getting our work done together. And I think that comes from slowing down. It comes from the self reflective work and models that have you have to answer the question of what impact am I having today on my people and on my organization? What one step could I take that moves me a little bit closer to how I want to show up and the impact I want to have and the work experience I want to have in the face of all of this pressure? And, one of my questions I'm always asking myself is how am I doing physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually? Drawing from the book, The Power of Full Engagement from years ago. That's always stuck with me. If I can, in this moment, just do a quick scan and then make one small shift, we get a little bit closer to not being at the effect of all that's coming at us and a little more choice in how our day is going. And the business results follow. I mean, there's enough research out there that shows, and we've done our own research in our in at Henley in our own programs. We have a
Yeah.
one program we've run about 500 years or 500 years, 5 years, and put about 500 people through. And I've got some stats if you're interested on the impact that happens when you can do that.
Yeah, I would love to hear that. You're right. Like, I think there is a lot of research on that. And so there's no question when if you get leaders in a room and you ask the
Yeah,
question, everyone's going to say, of course, you're better off if you treat people well, you leverage collective genius of your team and you collaborate and like everyone will say these things, right? Um,
yeah,
and I also totally agree with you. I think the
yeah.
vast majority of people
You'll
wake
get
up in
that.
the morning thinking, I want to do right by my people today. Like
Sure.
I want to make a difference. I want to be supportive. I want to help. Like obviously there's there's narcissists and there's sycophants and there's like all these toxic types of people that do exist. But like the vast majority of people like are really good people that get up and just want to do the best that they
Yeah,
can, right? And the best that they know how. The problem is that we find ourselves on the hamster wheel and we find
right.
ourselves in these
That's
systems
right.
that tend to reward the wrong behaviors. And then people just kind of get caught up in the gears, right?
Right.
And then they're just like, like so I think a lot of times people throw their hands up in the air and they're
Yeah.
just like, I don't know. Like it just becomes self-preservation, self-survival, and they want to do the right thing, but they're also like not even sure like how to proceed. And so people know the right thing, they say the right thing, but when they get into the grind of business, they're not really sure how to disrupt it and how to do
Yeah.
the right thing all the time, right?
Right. That's why I'm saying it's difficult to do alone. If you get a
Yeah,
team
yeah,
aligned, if you get a group of peer leaders together that are paying attention to the same thing, that have that support structure, or you have a good executive coach. I mean, that's our programmatic approach at Henley is to create more of a sense of community within people so that you
yeah,
aren't doing it on your own. The forces are too strong right now. And it is that daily self-reflection, slowing down piece and all the different ways we can do that we're finding is making the biggest difference. And again, I like because we always want to know what the business results are like. There's this history of it's touchy feely or it's too soft or it's soft skills, but we know now, like in that one study that I was mentioning
yeah,
early,
yeah.
like we had this is self-reporting from those participants. 76% had an increased desire to stay at the company after the program, to stay where they were.
Nice. Yeah.
84% said they had improved job performance. 88% said that trust and relationships were in better shape than they were prior. I mean, that's millions of dollars saved and so much
Mhm.
time and efficiency saved at a time when we are putting that additional pressure on everybody, not just leaders. So there's plenty of evidence that that self-reflective inquiry-based development has a positive impact on the workplace culture and the results over time.
Yeah, and I just want to reemphasize, like, there's lots of like ivory tower studies, university studies. I've done some of them myself. Like, there's lots of studies that have reemphasized this point over and over again. But
Yeah.
I want to just point out, like, this is also like with your program's participants. So, like,
Yeah.
this isn't just some like nice ivory tower
Now this is our
study,
data.
like this is like yeah. So I just wanted to point that out. Like, this is like for
It's
anyone
real.
who might be quick to dismiss like a different study, like this is like just real like participant
Yeah.
data,
This is
and
what they
it's a
told us.
Yeah,
right?
it's a big
Yeah.
deal. Like it really does make a big impact.
Yeah.
And so it, again, like I think you get the majority of leaders together and you
Yeah.
ask these types of questions, you ask them, the value and the benefits. And I think a lot of people are going to say, yeah, this is important. And yeah, I shouldn't like I need to be like a person of integrity and I need to be ethical and I need to treat my people with dignity and respect and I shouldn't like exploit them to get ahead and blah blah blah. Like I think most people are going to agree with that, but it does take support. It takes mutually reinforcing support to go against a system
That's
that
right.
that largely is going to push you the opposite direction. It's like trying to swim upstream,
Yeah,
right?
right. And so we get our one thing a day that was really our one practice a day that said, I did stop, I did self-reflect, I did ask the question, or I did try one new way of leading or behaving that disrupted or intervened in that relationship to humans as machines, and more like remembering we're human beings that need to know we matter. Above
Yeah.
all else, we want to know that we matter. And so if leaders aren't slowing down enough to let their people know in some way, in action, modeling, behavior, I matter, you matter, what we're doing matters together in the smallest 30-second way per day. And like I often hear, we don't have time. That's all
Yeah.
great. I don't have the time. My response is, I'm talking 30 seconds. Instead of having, you can take 1 minute a day. That
Yeah.
1 minute could buy you, could save you one and a half times your salary because you just lost a leader who did not feel that they were appreciated and now they're gone and it's going to cost you a lot of time and money to replace that person.
Yeah, and if anyone can stop for that 30 seconds, stop and reflect, right? Not only for how this is maybe impacting members of their team, but I mean, we've all felt that way, right? So think
All the
about what,
time.
yeah, think about when you feel that way, and think about what causes you to fantasize about going to a different job. Maybe the current job you're in, you're thinking about going to your next
I'm
position
not,
because
but yes,
yeah,
yes, for
I mean,
sure,
like
sure.
we've all been there, right? And so we can
Hmm.
all relate to that. And so sometimes it's just, yeah, it doesn't take a lot of time. Just being thoughtful and present and reflective, 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, whatever. It doesn't take a lot of time.
Yeah,
You should hopefully you're taking some time to like take some breaks, go on a walk, do something to like stretch or something. Any of those moments are moments you can do this
right.
and it'll pay big dividends and it just resets and reconnects you right
That's right.
to the humanity of your team.
Hmm.
And when the day gets hard, when you get stuck in the grind, it's more important than ever.
Absolutely.
And
It really does sometimes only take a minute.
yeah.
I mean, when we're really wound up, sure, but so often just stand up and walk away from your desk for a minute. Go out the front door, just look up, and then walk back in and sit down again is sometimes enough to get that reset.
I mean, there's a reason why people talk about just go touch grass. Like literally, it can just
That's
take a
right.
moment
That's right.
to just reconnect. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And again, in the modern era where we have Oracle, laying off by email tens of thousands of folks and all these different tech
Yeah.
companies doing the same thing, and you have all the massive layoffs and disruptions and all the geopolitical stuff and all the things causing anxiety and stress and uncertainty. And people don't know what to do but people want to do the best they can. They want to provide for their families and for their communities.
Hmm.
Leaders can while not having all the answers, nobody expects you to have all the answers, and
Right.
and you shouldn't pretend to have all the answers. But what they want is to just know that they have a leader that sees them, that hears them, and that recognizes like members of the team as like humans who
Yeah.
deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. And doesn't forget that they're people. Like I
Right.
think that it's a pretty
Yeah.
basic thing, but it goes a real long way in the current context.
It does,
Well,
especially at a time when we're being asked to make decisions without knowing the answers, to take risks that we've never been asked to take before. And that challenges our credibility to know I got your back, I'm paying attention, I'm listening, and for the leader and for those reporting to that leader. the building that comfort to move forward without knowing is a big deal right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Carol, this has just been such a great conversation. I know at the time, our time has gone so fast. I need to let you
Yeah,
go. But before we wrap things up, I wanted to give you a chance to share with the audience how they can connect with you, find out more about your work, your team, and then give us the
sure.
final word for today.
Sure. Henley Leadership Group is our website, and we're available for coaching and leadership development programs all over the world. We have a global presence. And I think the word going out would be just slow down, even when you think you can't. Just take a minute, slow down.
I love it. I love it. Carol, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I
Thank
encourage the
you.
audience to reach out, get connected, find out more about what Carol and her team can do for you. And as always, I hope everyone can stay healthy and safe, that you can find meaning and purpose at work each and every day. And I hope you all have a great
Yeah.
week.
Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure to meet you and be with you today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the podcast. We hope you stay healthy and safe, and please join us again soon.